You know, when you're at a party and you bump into an old friend or colleague, somebody who you know really admires you and likes your work. I'm not talking about a frenemy, it's a friend. You bump into someone who really you're simpatico with, and they say to you, "Hey, Roland, whatever happened to that?" And now they don't call you Roland unless your name is Roland, but I doubt it. So fill in the blank for your own information. But hey, Roland, Judy, Alice, Marcia, Stephen, Jerry. Whatever happened to that wonderful play, film, short, story, novel, fill in the blank, that you were working on last time we saw each other? This tends to happen especially with people that you see maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And in that instant, when they ask you, your heart sinks and you feel like, oh, God, you just feel all this shame and embarrassment wash over you. If you're anything like me, you want to just run screaming into the next room. And why is that? Because they're asking about your work that hasn't moved forward as quickly as you wanted it to. Well, it makes you feel, it reminds you of the ways in which over the past year, maybe, you've disappointed yourself in terms of making progress on this particular piece. But you know what? The thing is, that is a universal feeling. It is just part of being human, part of being an artist, part of being a creative person. We all feel that. We all feel that internalized pressure and the resulting embarrassment and shame. And then, unfortunately, the next thing that often happens is then you think, ugh, you get into defeatist self-talk and you think, ugh, why do I even bother? It's ridiculous. Or then maybe the fear can creep in that, like, oh, I thought the idea was good 2 years ago, but now it's probably over, and maybe I was stupid to even try writing this play, film, opera, fill in the blank. And that's all natural to feel those things. But what I want to say to you now is that it may be natural to feel those things, but you know, it's not necessary or natural or good to feel them alone and to try to battle this feeling of inertia alone. It just never works. And that's why I decided this year, in the new year, in the spirit of sharing my own excitement about some of my own projects which are finally moving forward, I thought that I would create a forum where people could meet and you could share your progress, but also share your frustrations with a project that you have been working on for a good little while. That could be something you're in the process of writing. It could be something that's finished and now you're producing. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that you are someone who has taken a workshop with me in the past and that you want to connect monthly with like-minded artists to share your challenges, questions, frustrations, and hopefully get a little bit of new insight and support from other people who are on the same path. So if you're interested in this, I'm calling it the Roland Tec Alumni Action Network. It's a very long name, but that is what it's going to be called. We're going to meet on the first Wednesday of each month in the afternoon for 90 minutes. The first half of the session will be me addressing a topic that I think is on everyone's mind based on email exchanges that I've had with you all in the weeks leading up to the session. And then the second half will be open to any questions or frustrations that you want to share with the group, obstacles that you're trying to figure your way through. The idea behind this really is that more minds are better than one mind. More hearts are better than one heart alone. And so I hope that you will consider joining us, and all the information should be in the email. One thing before I let you go, I just want to point out that I intentionally made this video in front of one of my heroes. That is Sarah Caldwell. You can Google her. She's no longer with us, but she was the founding artistic director of Opera Company of Boston. And she was a real visionary. And I just love the fact that she was on the cover of Time magazine. But what I love even more were some of the amazing productions she mounted in Boston while I lived there. And the thing about Sarah Caldwell was she was always someone who believed something could happen before anybody else did. And people always told her, no, you can't do that. You can't make an opera here or on this or there or this way. And she always had a vision, and she always believed in her vision. And sometimes she failed, and she failed catastrophically. And I remember some of those productions. And sometimes she succeeded, and she gave us moments in theater that I will take to my grave. So, Sarah Caldwell, mwah, wherever you are.